Time for Storytime Monday, episode 2. Took the week off last week. I was up at Six Flags Darien Lake with the family, other than it being like 90 to 100 degrees every day. It was a great trip. All had lots of fun, went on tons of roller coasters, ate a bunch of shitty food, or food that's shitty for you, I should say, which was all delicious, by the way. I'll get into Afghanistan probably later this week. It's Monday, don't want to talk about that stuff today. It was a long day, had a 3.5 hour conference call this afternoon, and I don't really feel like talking about that right now. So, for Storytime Monday today, I'm going to talk about a story from high school that involves Atif Lone and I. For all those out there from Sydney High School, everyone knows Atif. Tisboo. I haven't heard from him in a while, but him and I were best friends growing up. I was at his parents' house literally like every day in high school. Played basketball nonstop throughout the school year and into the summer, and we were either, swimming, playing video games, doing something like that at Atif's parents' house. So one day when I was over there, we were wrestling around. MMA was like a big thing then, and it had just started being a big thing, really, like MMA and the UFC. And I was still wrestling at the time, so Atif and I were wrestling around, screwing around, whatever, and basically we'd wrestle around until I got like a chokehold on him or an ankle lock or something like that, and basically he would tap out. I mean, I had wrestled for years, and he had no chance in hell of potentially taking me down or anything like that. So we'd wrestle around or whatever, and we had gotten up to walk down the hallway at his parents' house. So for those of you who haven't been in his house, you walk in the front door, and there's a sitting room off to the right, basically with nice furniture, that no one ever actually used, dusty furniture. And then there was a long hallway. Down at the end of the hallway was Atif's bedroom, Saher's bedroom, and the bathroom. Atif's parents' bedroom was in the middle of the hallway. To me, the house was basically like a mansion. I grew up in a single wide and a double wide, so the house was huge. It had a sitting room that people didn't use. It had like a TV room, finished basement. It had the in-ground swimming pool out back. So I'd never been in a house like that, at that time. So always thought it was beautiful and everything like that. Well, we walked out of Atif's bedroom. We're walking down the hallway, probably going towards the kitchen to get a snack or something like that. And Atif tried to take me down while I wasn't paying attention. So, tried to grab me from behind, throw me to the ground or whatever, continuing to screw around. And I fought it off and pressed Atif up against the wall to take him down. And when I went to push into him to take him down, the sheetrock gave way on the wall, and Atif's back actually fell basically into his parents' bedroom. So I'm thinking, if it was my parents' house, even though we lived in like a double wide or single wide, if that happened, my dad would have killed me. If I would have damaged the sheetrock, just because it was going to cost potentially a couple $100s or whatever to have somebody do it, or even to buy the sheetrock, I'm thinking we're dead. You know what I mean? We're going to be murdered. This is such a nice house. We put a hole in the wall. Atif's parents are going to kill us. So in our infinite wisdom, we called Dan Griffith and also Brett Taylor. So we called Dan, and Dan was like, "You guys are idiots. Why are you calling me? I can't help you." And basically gave us no input and just hang up the phone. So Brett, being kind of the more mischievous of the group, was like, "Well, why don't you guys just hang something or put something over the hole in the wall?" you know, and we're like, oh yeah, you know, Brett, that's a great idea, yeah. So we took a picture from the wall, like a picture frame, and we moved the picture frame and put it over this hole in the wall, not realizing and thinking that Tiff's mom basically never had a job. They had lived in that house for 15 years, and that picture frame had probably been in that same exact spot since the day they moved in. So us, again, in our infinite wisdom, thinking, oh, well, she's never going to notice that this picture frame has moved and is now covering this substantial hole, which is in the wall, right? So, hole in the wall, move the picture in front of the hole. All right, we think we're golden, right? So, we're in Atif's bedroom. Atif's mom gets home. And we hear her kind of walking down the hallway, and we hear her stop. And then immediately, Atif. And so we stroll out of the bedroom, me thinking like we're going to get absolutely berated. Like she's going to yell at us. It's going to be terrible. She's like, what happened to the wall? You know, and we explained that, you know, we were wrestling around, screwing around, whatever. Atif kind of fell into the wall in a sense and put a hole in it. And she was basically just like, oh, don't worry about it. You know, boys will be boys. Don't let it ever happen again. And like my jaw just hit the floor. Like this was the first time in my life where I really understood the difference between the wealthy and the way I grew up and my family life. Because to my parents, the amount it was going to cost to fix the drywall, even if they did it themselves, was like, would have been huge. You know, a couple $100 out of the bank account for something like that would have been killer to my parents. Like, we didn't even get sodas at the gas station because we were that tight for money. But to think that his mom was perfectly okay with us putting a hole in the wall and that they were just going to be able to easily fix it with no issue financially was just otherworldly to me. I just could not believe that she didn't yell at us, didn't care, didn't anything. You know, Mrs. Lone was a great person, you know, loved her almost like a mother at points in my life just because I was at their house so frequently. But in the end, like I said, we thought that we were going to get frickin' killed, essentially, murdered by his mother, yelled at, whatever, and nothing happened of it whatsoever. The hole in the wall ended up being fixed and went on like nothing happened at all.